In this regrade submission where I crack PSA cards and send them off to CGC, the results of this submission kind of leads me to believe that I think CGC may be harsher than you think, and they're really good at catching every issue. You can argue with me, that's fine, it's just my opinion, and CGC kind of kicked my little butt cheeks and was like, no, you thought these cards would grade higher, but I don't think so, I think you're kind of an idiot. Alright, let's just get right to it. The first card in this submission is a beautiful one. We have Umbreon and Darkrai GX, Blackstar Promo. I don't know if they're like friends or enemies or rivals or whatever in this card, but they seem to be just kind of like prowling the city at night. Maybe they're up to no good, about to haunt or spook some unsuspecting humans and scaring the absolute ever-living crap out of them. This one I got in a PSA 9. My guess was that it was also going to get a 9. And the reason why I guess it was going to get a 9 mainly is there were some corner issues. But as I've learned with submitting with CGC is that they're pretty lenient on corners to get a 10, which I think is pretty fair. Honestly, I'm okay with that. So anyway, CGC gave this card a 10. Woohoo! Oh, great. Pretty excited about that. What do you think, Darkrai?
Shut the hell up.
Okay, well, anyway, a great way to kick off the submission. Surely things are just going to go up from here. Everything is fine and dandy and wonderful and amazing. Brace yourselves, I bought 4 of these cards for this submission because this was a clear example of a card that I think is just a beautiful and I love it and I couldn't help myself but buy quite a few of these. Snorlax is eating some pears and Eevee's eating some pears. They probably stole it from like a farmer that was saving all year to harvest these pears.
You give me my pears back, you crazy kids.
And Snorlax and Eevee, they don't care. They're munching. They're having a great time. I got this one in a PSA 9. My guess was I was going to get a 10. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought it looked great. And CGC gives it a 9.5. I mean, I was considering cracking it because, again, it looks really nice, but I don't know. Okay, yeah, losing some money there. Maybe the next one will go better. Like I said, I bought this card 4 times for this submission. The first one didn't go so well. Maybe this one will. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, so this one I got in a PSA 9. My guess was that it was going to get a 9.5. CGC gives it a 9.5. So on one hand, I was accurate with my guess. On the other hand, it's a kick in the absolute nuts. Good stuff. Oh, so happy. Oh, I have reel it in. All right, stay focused. It's okay. You'll be fine. Maybe the next card will do better. All right, here is the third Eevee and Snorlax GX card in the submission. This one I actually originally got in a Beckett 9.5 with all 9.5 subgrades that I sent to PSA. The first time I sent it to PSA, I got a 9. I was like, okay, well, I'll try one more time. And the second time, PSA gave it an 8. Okay, well, I'm just gonna send it to CGC and see what it gives it because the card looked incredibly clean to me. My guess was that I was gonna get a 10 and CGC gives the card a 9. That's 3 cards in a row that I'm losing money. Perhaps you could be so nice and share one of your pairs with me, Snorlax, because I'm losing a lot of money here, please.
No, these are mine. Nom, 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 nom.
Here is the last Eevee and Snorlax card in this submission. This one I also got in a PSA 9. My guess was that it was going to get a 9.5. Looked fine to me. Looked great. Nothing too wrong with it. Maybe some corner wear, whatever. I know CGC is kind of lenient on it, right? So when CGC gave it an 8, I was like, what? How? Why? I'm just at an absolute loss here. I actually did look this card over. I couldn't really find any reason as to why I got an 8. Sometimes the only way to cope with such massive losses like these is just to pretend that it doesn't happen. Let's move on to the next one. Espeon Deoxys GX from the Tag Team Collection. In the similar vein of the Umbreon and Darkrai card, I think these cards are really cool, and my guess was I was going to get a 10. Please, can I get a win here? That would be great. CGC gives the card a 10. Fantastic. Okay, there's a bit of a value gain. Again, the issue here is that the value in a CGC 10 isn't really that great. Barely even compensates for all the previous losses from my other cards. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I love the card. It's great. It's probably better to stick to cards that have better profit ratios between a PSA 9 and CGC 10. But that's okay. Let's move on to the next one. Up next is the same exact card as Espeon and Deoxys. It's the last of these cards for this submission, and I got this in a PSA 9. Okay, so here is where I believe PSA missed something. But let me tell you what my guess was first. My guess was that it was going to get a 10. CGC gives it an 8.5. And once again, when I saw that grade, I was like, how did this get an 8.5? So confused. I decided to once again put it under some lighting and really inspected it like a nerd. And I found a pretty significant indent on the back of the card that I think PSA probably missed, because if they saw that, I would assume they'd give it like an 8 or maybe worse. Yep, obviously CGC saw it, gave it an 8.5, which honestly like is a very fair grade for that massive of an indent. The only person to blame here is myself. I shouldn't have got the card, but you can absolutely not see that issue on a PSA scan. It's just the luck of the draw. I probably should have caught it before I tried cracking the slab, because if I found it, I wouldn't have cracked it and kept it as is. But hey, it is what it is. It's a numbers game. You got to just throw cards at CGC, hoping that most of them grade better, and sometimes they don't. Speaking of cards that don't grade better, let's move on to the next one. This one is Mega Mewtwo EX Breakthrough. I got it in a PSA 9. Looks like he just finished the greatest heavy metal song of all time, and he's on his stage going like, yeah, yeah. This one I guess was going to get a 9.5, and CGC gave it an 8.5. Now I did look this one over. There may have been some like surface issues on the back. It's really hard to tell though. So far these like more modern cards aren't really doing so well, but maybe we can turn it around, okay? Maybe we're just getting a little unlucky, or maybe the grader's just a little upset. Up next is Mega Charizard EX from Generations. This card is incredible. I'm a huge fan of this card. Of course, Charizard is very angry at something. He's got fire coming out of his mouth. Maybe he went to a Thai restaurant, ordered the chicken pad Thai, but they gave him the 5-star hot instead of the 2-star, and he's not ready to cope with that level of heat. This one I got in a PSA 9. My guess was that it was going to get a 9.5. I did not think it was going to get a 10. There was some edge wear on the back that's really hard to see in the scan. CGC gives it a 9. So a PSA 9 to CGC 9. Man, our 9s are not doing well with this submission at all so far. This is a tough pill to swallow. Let's hope the next card does better. How can you not love this card? I'm actually surprised this card isn't more expensive. It has like the 2 most popular Pokemon of all time. I got this one in a 9, and my guess was I was going to get a 9.5. Really, the only thing that wasn't great was the bottom left back corner. Other than that, I really couldn't see anything wrong with it. And just look how happy Pikachu is. If only I could experience that pure joy, riding on Charizard's back through the skies, or in this case, through some kind of weird computerized vortex of some kind. Maybe they're being traded through the Game Boy Link cable. I don't know what they're doing, but they're having a great time.
My best friend Charizard, he's my best friend.
I never agreed to this.
CGC gives the card a 9.5. So woohoo, okay, that's another one. Count that as a win for me because I was correct, but not a great value gain. I'll probably try to get more of this card in the future because I love it, and maybe we'll shoot for 10 another time. Here's our Charmander boy, just incredibly mad at that Pidgey, and that Pidgey's giving him the side eye. There was a recent price bump, but I got it for a decent value in a PSA 9. My guess was I was going to get a 10, and CGC gave it an 8.5. Okay, so here's the thing. This card has a print line on the front of the card that you can actually see in the PSA scan, but you have to really look, and that's on me. That's my bad. I should have looked more thoroughly on this card. I just got really excited, okay? So I make mistakes. I see a card sometimes and I really want it. That's my bad. And also, I think it has like a scratch on the front or something too. And not only that, but I think it also has like a vertical scratch on the back left border. The short of it is I shouldn't have bought this card at all. Again, things aren't going too great. But again, CGC has been incredibly fair with all these grades. I cannot complain at all. Let's go on to the next one. Here is the Dragonite Japanese Game Boy promo. I've had this card a number of times now. I love this card so much. Dragonite is enjoying his night in the green hills. A beautiful starry background. There's a nice little swirl above that bush too. That's always nice. This one I got in a PSA 8, and my guess was I was going to get a 10. And CGC gives the card a 9.5. Oh yes, I just love getting a 9.5. That's beautiful. It's wonderful. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, I believe it got a 9.5 because the front, top to bottom centering is out of the 55-45 range. I think that's why. I'm not really quite sure. One of the few positives so far in this video, so that's great. Okay, up next we have Lugia Gold Silver to a New World, or Japanese Neo. This one I got in a PSA 8. And there's an interesting story about this as to why I got it for so cheap, was because the seller on eBay that I bought it from didn't ship it out soon enough, and I asked for a refund, but then they did ship it out, but I got a refund. The short of it is I got it for free. That certainly will help my profits for this submission. That's great. So my guess was that it was going to get a 9. I noticed some issues on the back. CGC gave this card a 9. Okay, look at that profit. That's fantastic. I definitely lucked out here. Still not really quite sure how that happened, but let's just, eat that cash when we sell it. Okay, let's move on. Here is Charizard Base Set Holo. Man, I wish I could get more of these cards for my submissions because the potential profit gain for these cards are insane. You know, I definitely still try to buy ones that I believe are graded lower. So this one I got in a PSA 7, and my guess was that it was going to get a 9. CGC gave this card an 8.5. Hey, look at that. That is the second biggest value gain of the whole submission. Great, that's fine. Thank you, my long, thick-necked Charizard boy.
Yeah.
Okay, here is Suicune Neo Revelation Holo. This one I got in a PSA 8. My guess was that it was going to get a 9. Now, the interesting thing here is that CGC gave it a 7.5. So once again, I'm like, what? Okay, let's try to figure out why that happened. On the back of the card near the P in Pokemon, there's a little bit of a dent. I believe that's probably why. And again, it leads me to believe that CGC catches every surface issue. They're very thorough. Yeah, it's unfortunate for me. Again, I can't complain. It's completely fair. It's just impossible to catch on PSA scans. So again, I think I got a little bit unlucky here. There's nothing more you can do than just move on. You have to accept losses if you do regrading like this because you will definitely not win every time. Up next, another legendary dog, Entei Neo Revelation Holo. This one, he's looking very astute, very, very serious. It's almost like the teacher walking by your desk as you're taking an exam just to make sure you're not cheating. This one I got in a PSA 8. My guess was that it was also going to get an 8, and here's why. This weird, like, hair-looking white mark on the left border in the back. So I thought, when I saw the PSA scan, I took the risk. I was like, that's probably a piece of hair that's not on the card. No way that's on the card. Let's buy it. Let's take that risk. Well, I'll tell you what, it's on the card. I tried to get rid of it. It would not come off. When CGC gave this card an 8, could not complain again at all. I think that's fair. I'm actually happy with that. They definitely could have graded it a little lower. They're being completely fair. Let's go on to the next one. Steelix Neo Genesis first edition. I got this one in a PSA 8. Okay, so this one I guess was going to get a 10. So CGC gave this an 8.5. Okay, hot off the press. I just looked it up. I believe the reason why this got an 8.5 is because underneath the Onyx in stage 1 on the top left of the card, there is a black mark of some kind underneath Onyx, and that has to be the reason why this card got an 8.5. So yeah, I just didn't catch that when I was looking at the card. I definitely should have. There's quite a few so far that I probably shouldn't have bought, but okay, there's 3 cards left. Maybe we can salvage this submission a little bit. Let's go on to the next one. Typhlosion Neo Genesis first edition Holo. I got this in a PSA 9 and paid a pretty penny for it. I thought that it was going to get a 10, and when CGC gave it a 9, I was very angry, just like my guy Typhlosion here. I was like,
Why? Why? Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, whatever. It's from a 9 to a 9, which seems to be happening more often these days. I can accept that. That's fine. I'll get over it. Pretty significant loss here. That is the 11th card in the submission that I've had a loss on, which is not great. Okay, 2 more. Here we have Lugia Neo Genesis Holo. I got this one in a PSA 7. My guess was that it was going to get an 8.5. CGC gives the card an 8.5. Fantastic. A grade and a half bump. Again, I think CGC tends to be a bit more lenient on holo scratches, so I'm happy with that. Again, value gain. That's cool. Let's move on to the last card. Oh, we have Dragonite Holo Fossil. Look at him sitting there chuckling. So cute and adorable. I got this one in a PSA 8. My guess was that it was going to get a 9.5. Was I optimistic? Sure, maybe a little bit. And CGC gives it a 9. Okay, 1 grade bump. I mean, with the way this submission has been going, I will take that for sure. Decent way to end the submission, I guess, but it definitely could have been worse. Just to go over a little bit of the stats here, the average PSA grade for the 20 cards was 8.45, and the average CGC grades was 8.88, giving an average bump of 0.43, which is not great, or percent increase of 5%. Definitely not a big jump here of all grades overall. All right, let's go on to the final results. So my total cost for this submission was around $5,100. If all my guesses were correct, my total value would be around $9,300, but obviously they weren't, and my actual value is around $6,300, giving me a profit of 1,170. This submission did not go well. One of my worsts for sure. So I'm giving myself a D for this submission. Another D. I won't give myself an F. I'll save that for if I actually lose money in a submission, but definitely was not happy. I had to process this for a few hours just to get myself back in a good headspace, but that's okay. We'll move on to the next one. So stay tuned for more videos and more submissions and more fun grading experiments. That's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.